Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. Mex-Men.
We're basically dick to dick right now.
We're always dick to dick. Me and Brendan Fraser.
In spirit.
It's a great way to start the episode.
that's Nightwing's pep talk in the mirror. Dick to dick.
That does sound like you know how in wrestling they have those talk shows that they'll do real quick.
Yeah.
That sounds like if Nightwing was a wrestler, it would be his interview segment. It's like dick to dick.
Yeah. Like, you know that belly to belly suplex? We all know you tuck in. And really it's dick to dick.
I feel like he's throwing himself off because he's talking to himself in the mirror. He's like, it's dick to dick. No, it's not. Oh, man. His whole motivational speech just went out the window at that point.
You know what's hilarious is right now he lost his memory and he's going by Rick.
So
he's got an alter ego where he
Almost.
it's Rick, yeah. It's like, dude, you're so close to being right. It's insane.
This is the most we've ever talked about DC.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great stuff to talk about him usually.
Sorry,
The
DC
Snyder
fans.
Cut.
Oh, I agree. No.
There's a whole thing that people are accusing DC of ripping off Marvel they're accusing Marvel of ripping off DC because when Marvel did the cuts to different places, they used the same font as the Justice League, which is just like bold italics.
How dare they?
I thought you were gonna say when they made a guy in a bat suit.
Do they have a guy in a bat suit?
I don't think they've been so brazen. They've done
I
owls.
don't know. They might have put a guy in a bat suit.
I don't really worry about that stuff. Everybody's copying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Wonder Man, so DC was pretty pissed off that Marvel got Wonder Man
Why?
because they beat him to it. Now they got nobody to pair up with Wonder Woman except Steve Trevor,
Oh, I guess.
Superman.
I guess that makes sense. I was wondering why, because even though he does have, I guess, kind of similar powers, they're not similar, really.
Instead, they made Ponder Man.
He just thinks of what he could do to help.
Yeah. Well, instead of sitting there wondering about it.
He's he's partners with Captain Hindsight from South Park. Well, welcome to this issue of Mex-Men. I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be going over Axis issues 4 through 6 and Carnage Axis issue 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real fun time. You guys sit back, grab some popcorn.
And just stare at a wall.
Just play with your wiener if you want, or your vagina.
Or listen to this on YouTube, which would require you to turn it off on your headphones. Then do that, and then watch a blank video.
That was great promo.
Yeah.
Or put this on while you're playing video games.
Really don't do that, because then you're going to see all those other videos to watch that would be more engaging, and then it would take a...
There's no videos more engaging than our...
Blank screen?
Yeah.
It's like a silent film, but opposite.
It's a podcast?
Exactly.
So, Devin, what happens in this Axis here?
Yeah. Steve Rogers isn't in there at all. Because I'm thinking of Captain America. It's I said literally the most wrong thing.
So Batman comes in, right? He's like, hey, Rick, we got to take down Savage Dragon.
And Rick's like, who are you? Who am I? Because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, Captain America, not Steve Rogers. So Falcon, because I also just realized there are so many other ones.
You forgot Falcon's name, did you?
Captain Falcon,
Captain Falcon, yeah.
Captain Falcon Punch!
which he does that pretty soon.
It's Sam Wilson. Because I can tell you forgot his name.
I did forget Sam Wilson. I was thinking Anthony Mackie, actually.
Although I will admit, for a second, I was like, that idiot forgot his name. It's fuck. What is it? I was like, Sam Wilson. That's it.
Yeah, no. I was trying to refrain from saying Anthony Mackie.
I mean, he is Falcon.
Yeah.
So
anyway, Sam Wilson, Captain America, is sitting at a table with Nick Fury, who's not Sam Jackson.
it is Sam Jackson.
It's not Sam Jackson. The ultimate Nick Fury is Sam Jackson.
Yeah, but this they redid.
Just for him to be black, but this one's not Sam Jackson.
It's still Sam Jackson.
No, it ain't.
No.
You look at that face, that's not Sam Jackson.
No, he's just shaftier.
He's shaftier. He looks more Michael Jai White shaved.
I'd be totally cool with Michael Jai White playing any character in the
Sam
MCU.
Jackson.
Yeah, man. All right, so anyway, Captain America is sitting across from Nick Fury, both who are black now.
That's not a part of the story.
No, but like it lets you know what era this book exists in. And what we get later is some black on black crime. So Hulk for some reason is like mopey and sad, which is weird, like the demeanor of the Hulk.
Because he was inverted.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know, not sad yet. He's like scared, like he's skittish for some reason. Like so, Shield, like Maria Hill comes in and they're like, "Hey, so great job stopping Red Skull. We're gonna take him now and throw him in our prison." And Captain America's like, "Fuck that noise. We already got him locked up. Tony Stark hooked it up for us."
So they're basically pulling the Avengers during AVX.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, they're Avengering the Avengers.
That's just it's just pulling an Avengers.
Which is weird though because
Because
like
they pulled the first Avengers on the X-Men in this book.
but it's weird because I never thought, especially during this time, that there was a rift between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers.
I don't think there was until now.
Because, like, they were, like, simpatico. Like, it's weird that they had to sit down at this meeting and, like, so you're going to hand us the prisoner that you got? And they're like, nah, we're holding on to him.
Well, they're inverted
You're
too,
forgetting about the inversion.
This would go way different, yeah, if they weren't inverted.
Yeah, he would just straight up give him it if he wasn't inverted.
No, I understand the inversion. What I'm saying is, like I don't understand how being inverted makes you decide to hold your own prisoners all of a sudden when, like, it was just part of like, they have the prison. S.H.I.E.L.D. has the prisons.
It
like,
turns
why
good
would
guys
you?
bad and bad guys good.
Well, and
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying,
they're
like,
different. But I think it's the ego now that, like, I mean, especially because
Yeah, I guess
everybody
there's
else
that,
has
yeah.
failed. He's like, nobody can take care of this issue but me. I'm the only one who can trust me to do it.
He does
because
get
I'm
like
just
that.
gonna cap him.
He does get. I'm just gonna cap him.
Just gonna cap him.
Foreshadowing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Right? Double entendres. It's crazy. It's like you should rap.
What do you think he's doing when he's like hitting it from behind? What's the cap in that ass?
Capping those cheeks.
Capping those cheeks. Oh man. All right. So,
Well, he would have to be the first one because we know Steve Rogers doesn't fuck.
No, just missionary for Steve anyway.
I don't even think he's gotten to that point. He's maybe gotten a hand job before.
Third base, Max.
yo. Oh no. I was gonna say him and Captain Marvel, but I just realized, and this is gonna sound terrible, that was Rhodey.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought it was Sam for a second.
racist.
See, I knew you were gonna but that's not why.
It's
I
because
legitimately-
they're both the black dudes in the MCU that they just gloss over constantly and don't get their own movies.
I was,
They don't get their own comics either, so let's be real.
but it.
They get comics with other people where they're like, "Oh, you guys want Falcon? Well, here he is with Winter Soldier."
No,
I think Falcon has way more time than War Machine.
I was trying to think of like who Falcon fucked, and like, yeah, and I just confused him with Rhodey because I was gonna say that was Cap Cheeks squared. If it was, if it was Carol.
Why does that sound like the sequel to White House Down?
All right. So anyway,
Starring Anthony Mackie.
to get into the story, fucking finally, Falcon's like, So Tony already has built a prison for Red Skull, and he's like, we're good. We have him. You're not getting him.
This dude built Sentinels. There's no way he's getting out.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They were like, you mean Tony Stark who built the Sentinels that, like, villains had to take down?
Yeah,
that
those
Tony Stark?
super quality Sentinels.
Who went MIA for 2 weeks? And, like, you know, he doesn't seem like the most trustworthy guy right now.
Or ever.
And Falcon's like, don't talk shit about my one white friend. and then, like, apropos of nothing, he just punches Nick Fury in the face. It's just like, no, we're keeping him, and then Nick Fury just takes it.
Well, also
surprisingly, this is obviously a different Nick Fury than the one in Original Sin.
Clearly not Sam Jackson. You think he would just take getting punched in the face?
Depends what
by
movie.
Anthony Mackie?
Depends what movie.
Any movie. You think that he'll let Anthony Mackie just punch him in the face?
I'm trying to remember.
Definitely not
a movie.
Anthony Mackie ever.
I
He's gonna
know
be
there's
like-
a movie where Sam Jackson is like not Sam Jackson and is just terrified of everything, and I can't remember what that movie is.
He'd be like
It
Papa
would be
Doc,
Captain
but-
Marvel, but he still wasn't taking a punch from Anthony Mackie in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He was not even taking him from a Skrull, so.
I also want to add too that the Hulk is trying to side with the Avengers, and Falcon just gives him a stare, or Captain America gives him a stare.
Yeah, and
he's
shuts
like,
him up.
Dude, I lead this bitch.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't remember asking for your input. This isn't a discussion. I've decided.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Cap's a dick. In that sense, he's following true to the footsteps of the Captain America mantle.
Not fair, because like he does like a hook, and that's clearly coming out of his blind spot.
That is true. It's on his blind side. He's looking face to face, but that's a sucker punch.
Yeah. So, and he's just stunned that it even happened.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do anything. All right. So anyway, Cap then calls a meeting, and he's like, Wanda, get everyone to the Avengers Tower, but don't tell Rogers. And it's like, okay. So he's calling an evil Avengers meeting. And then we go over to the Squid, who, like, you know,
Bushwick.
like everyone knows, the Squid.
Yeah, he's the villain of Watchmen.
And he's just randomly in an apartment complex holding a family hostage. And they're shooting at police officers. And, like, you see, like, a police captain there or lieutenant or whatever. And they're trying to figure out what to do in the situation. You see a figure swinging in, and you expect it to be Spider-Man. But nope. Friendly neighborhood Carnage.
Yep, the courageous Carnage.
Yeah.
Not from the Munich circus.
He busts in. The Squid thinks that he's trying to take their haul or whatever, like, you know, take what they're stealing. And then he just beats them up. And then Spider-Man shows up and he's like, what's going on? And the police guy's like, Carnage just swung in there. So we don't know, but, like, the Squid's got a family hostage.
The Squid is such a stupid name.
I know.
I hear it.
Now that you hear it?
No, so every time I hear it, I just
Okay.
can't help but think it's stupid.
Well, because they were like, we can't have it be Dr. Octopus. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's Carnage. He's got to
The
have his own.
Squid.
The
Dr.
Squid.
Octopus sounds good. The Squid, though?
What if it was Dr. Squid?
That sounds better.
Captain Squid.
Well, because I think Squid's already kind of like a nerdy sounding thing.
It sounds like easily squishable.
Yeah, and then so you say Dr. Squid, it's like, all right,
He's got a PhD.
yeah. So yeah,
General Squid.
Spider-Man goes in there thinking he's gonna find a bunch of dead bodies, and instead he finds all the bad guys, including the Squid, webbed up, and a note saying "Your friendly neighborhood Carnage," and he's like confused, like, what just happened?
Yeah, he's more creeped out by Carnage being nice and helping people.
Yeah, I like the copyright infringement line that he has.
Yeah.
So then the story shifts over to Iron Man, who's descending upon a stadium of some game. They're getting ready to play the national anthem.
Baseball.
Yeah, that.
So clearly a baseball diamond.
Well, you're saying I'm not looking. I'm just remembering
I know, but
that it was a stadium. I'm not looking at the page. Both of you are looking at the page.
I just like the idea of you seeing a baseball diamond. And you're like, is that basketball?
Some sports game is going on. I knew it wasn't basketball because those don't have open roofs usually.
Yeah. It would be very inconvenient for basketball with like the court and stuff if it rains.
Can you imagine it rains and then they're just sliding all over the place?
everywhere.
Yeah, a game where they aggressively try to wipe up people's sweat from the floor.
You just see Shaq constantly falling over. And that weird Shaq roll he does.
That would be doubly surprising because Shaq hasn't played basketball in 10 years.
I know, I'm just saying it'd be hilarious.
It would be.
All right, so
Tell you, for Iron Man being in a suit of armor, he sure as hell sculpted those cheeks.
yeah, so he interrupts the national anthem, and then everyone's like, "Oh, sweet, it's Iron Man." He's like, "Yeah, I'm dope." Speaking of dope, this new app I got, the Extremis app, get it. It's free. In fact, it's already on your phones.
Yeah, he's the U2.
I was just gonna say U2. He U2'd it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's not weird. I just hacked your phones, put this app on there against your will.
And it's like you use this app and you become the most beautiful version of yourself physically.
I mean, I guess if that U2 album made your dick bigger, like, you'd probably be a lot more cool with it.
I understood, conceptually what this was, but in any, literal sense, it makes no sense to me. You have an app on your phone, and then that app on your phone just physically makes you hotter. I understand filters in real life do that to people, but, you still look ugly when you do that. But, this is physically changing people, and it's confusing because, how?
Did you read the Iron Man of this time?
Sort of. I bought an issue, but I stopped reading Iron Man just prior to this because they made him a robotic alien test tube baby. And I was like, you know
That'll
what?
happen.
Dumb.
I'm just curious if they explained it more in his book.
The only way I can think of it working is if he, literally, poisoned everybody with nanites, so it's just in everybody's system, and they're designed to, Bluetooth hook up with your phone
Yeah.
and change your
You
appearance.
gotta shove the USB up your ass.
Because, he literally had to inject Extremis into himself. So it's how are you? You've already done it, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that he, just had, some fog in the Goodyear blimp over this.
Yeah. So he announces that app, and then Matt Murdock just happens to be at a baseball game. That's probably the most weird thing to me in this is he's in San Francisco and he just goes to see baseball.
He lives in San Francisco at this time.
No, I understand
right.
that he's there, but he goes to hear the baseball game. What's going on there?
He's a fan.
They play baseball on the radio. So I'm not saying it's interesting because watching baseball on TV isn't interesting, but I guess if you like baseball, you listen to it on the radio. So
It's just weird that a blind dude's there at a baseball game.
especially because he can taste the hot dogs even more, so he knows what's in them.
Yeah.
And also, he's barely blind.
Something does happen though that I feel like was pretty significant. I like how they paneled it out, where there's this hot chick who's carrying a tray of drinks just randomly.
There's a lot of hot chicks he brought with him, apparently.
Yeah.
He flew in from the sky, but there's 5 hot chicks on the field ready for him.
Yeah.
You see, I feel like they were either men or ugly chicks, and he used Extremis to be like, "You're hot now." Also, bikini.
Yeah. Extremis made their clothes a bikini.
Yeah. I mean, it makes their face not hideous. So.
And so
He
they're
can do anything.
they're carrying champagne on a platter, and he grabs one. And between 2 pages, they break down the close-ups of him grabbing it, and then him staring at it, and then him finally taking the drink. Just oh, I missed you. Because alcoholic.
He quit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did make it a big deal, which was good that they focused in on it.
Yeah, evil Tony. He drinks alcohols.
It's funny that evil inversion Iron Man is just him 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He's not much different.
So then the X-Men have their hate rally.
Is that what this is?
Pretty much. It's like, fuck the humans. The humans are pieces of garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically a declaration of war. Was the whole reason that they were holding this.
For most of it, it sounds just like a speech from Cyclops during Bendis era.
Nah. I think they're a little too hardcore, because even Cyclops is just sort of standing there watching it.
Well, and Cyclops'
didn't
whole
he get
thing,
inverted as well?
Yeah, but his whole thing up to this point was like, we'll fight back if we have to.
Yeah, he was
We're not
Malcolm
putting
Xing
up with
it.
this. But they're like, no, we will kill you. If
Yeah.
you try to convert to our side, we'll snap your neck too. So
No, it took a while, I'm saying. Like, it was almost 2 pages before they even got to that point. They were just saying, like, they're basically giving a Cyclops speech. You guys keep coming after us, and we've had enough of it, and it's time to, we'll wage war against you guys. And it wasn't until, like, the end where they got all violent.
Yeah, but that's where they were going.
Yeah.
But what threw me off was Havoc talking about he spent years on the Unity thing. And this is all supposed to be relatively recent, like with the whole AVX thing. Like, this is all a matter of months, right?
no, he doesn't say that. He says he spent years of his life fighting to close the gap between humans.
Oh, okay,
and
so he's counting being
mutants.
an X-Man.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought he meant, like, literally
It
being
does
the
come
leader
off like
of the
that.
unit. Yeah, because that's what he just
But,
gave up.
Yeah, I think he just meant in the sense of like that's what he's been doing with the X-Men, and he's done with that.
Then it's weird that he didn't say weave. That he said I've.
Yeah, he's pretty selfish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he is a bad guy now.
he should get that Extremis app though because half of his face is burnt off.
Right. So
I just read this. It's not that bad. Their speech is not that bad.
it's pretty bad.
The worst thing that's
You're-
said is Storm says, "It is time the X-Men stood together. Time we took the initiative and strike first in the war they have waged on us."
Yeah, but then they get into the whole survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
But that's the only line. Survival of the fittest.
That's a pretty important
but
line.
you know where they're going.
Well, we know where they're going. I'm not saying their intentions are bad. I'm saying
Everything
the
is
speech.
justification up to that point because they're talking to a bunch of mutants who haven't been inverted.
Yeah. Also, if you read Cable and Deadpool, his whole thing is like getting rid of that survival of the fittest thing.
Who? What?
Whose thing?
In Cable and Deadpool, his whole he's building.
Are
Like
you talking about Apocalypse's whole thing?
No,
Or
Cable is
Cable's?
building a utopic society, and people keep on bringing up like, "Oh, survival of the fittest." He's like, "No, you only become a future society when you realize you have to take care of the weakest in your society."
But no, because when I read this, I was forgetting that they were inverted, and I was like, they finally sided with Cyclops.
They did it.
By the way, that sounds like some lies that bug-eyed dwarf dude just put into Cable's head because he's like, "Protect me, protect me."
Bug-eyed dwarf dude.
Yeah.
I hope that's his real name. Like
The
Megasonic
Ashkani
Teenage
guy. No, I'm trying to remember his name. He was in that X-Force book recently with Kid Cable. He's a Cable character. He's from the future.
All right.
part
I
of
didn't.
that
I didn't
tribe
read that
who
X-Force.
raised
I
him
just
in
read
the-
the first issue because boom, boom,
I can't remember his name, but he looks grotesque.
rude.
He
He could use Extremis.
He looks rude. He could. So anyway, they have their rally, and Magneto walks off, and then there's a bird, and this is like the
Birds are
dumbest.
robots, bro. That's what they're trying to show.
Well, it's the dumbest use of fucking. It shows how dumb Sam Wilson's power is. Is like the bird sees Apocalypse, and Sam's like, "Apocalypse has risen," and it's like, "Oh god, you have bird vision. Fuck
Does
you."
he actually have bird vision?
I think so.
Yeah, he's got that whole thing. I know he does it. He has it with the Red Wing. Like he has like a psychic connection. I don't know if he has that with every bird, but I think he can talk to all of them.
Yeah, he's got that bird there because they show it later. Like
Yeah.
it's a brown bird, so
That's a robot bird. He's trying to play it up.
well, probably. And he's got like it's in the
He's
goggles.
been
he wears.
lying the whole time. He doesn't have powers. He just built one cool thing once.
That's the feeling I get though with this dude is like he's going so hardcore in how like the world needs his leadership and how like powerful he is and how he can stop everybody, and it's like, dude, you are literally nothing.
He didn't really talk about his powers. He was talking about his ability to control people.
No,
Like, to
not
tell
his-
them
I'm
what-
so bossy.
I
Yeah,
don't mean
basically.
his powers. I mean his power.
I'm the
Like, he's
one
just a
tattooed on
powerful
his
man.
arms.
He ends up saying,
His speech is like, "Yeah, I'm the one y'all love to hate."
My milkshake brings out the boys. Sorry, wrong song.
Damn right, they're better than yours.
Steve.
I know what you meant by that, but the way you said Steve sounded like he walked in on you jerking off. You're like, Steve?
All right, so yeah, Magneto leaves. The Bird sees them. Fucking Falcon.
Falcon guy.
Falcon Cap.
You call him Hawkeye.
I almost called him Hawkeye. So Falcon Vision. He's like, all right, so Apocalypse has risen. We got to do some shit about this. And they are currently having their evil Avengers meeting. So all the inverted Avengers are there. And they're like, we got to solve our own issues because, like, we can't lose this. Like, we're selfish now, and it's amazing, and we can't lose this. We can't have this taken away from us.
Yeah, they've been, what do they call it? Like, their mind has been cleared.
Like they're enlightened or something.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, technically, Red Skull has the power to take this away from us, so we should just kill him, right?
Makes sense.
Maybe, like, bust a cap.
We're going to have to make that a shirt now. With Falcon with a gun saying bust a cap.
Well, I just thought, like, bust a cap meant kill a mutant. Because
Yeah.
Captain America. So...
No, I'm thinking about Busta Rhymes, Sam Wilson.
Bust a cap.
All these speeches have been said really fast.
I really don't like the way Sam Wilson talks in this, though. It's so super villainy, and everyone is going like super villain, like with the way they talk. But his is so annoying.
I feel like that's because he was so good.
Well,
That's why Magneto's inversion is like non-noticeable.
He's like
because he
so
was like on the
middle ground.
verge.
Yeah, because
like,
he
he's
was
sort
so
of mellow.
middle. Yeah,
That's how I feel about Cyclops. Actually, like he's not like overtly anything really. He's just sort of sided with the mutants, because I feel like he was already sort of toward the middle.
yeah.
Like, I like the idea that he didn't change at all. It's just all of his friends wanted to hang out, and he didn't want to fuck it up.
Or yeah, he's like, "You guys like me again?"
Yeah.
Finally.
You guys are going to let me hang out? That's cool.
Because he really doesn't do anything. Like later, when he confirms what Nightcrawler says, like that's all he's doing. He's just going on the computer. It's like, who's letting a colorblind dude look at the computer screen?
Yeah.
But anyway, so Jarvis is like, no, you can't do this. You can't.
It's Jarvis.
Jarvis.
He's a pirate.
He's like, I won't let you guys kill someone because evil just begets more evil. And it's hilarious that he's just like, hey guys, don't be evil. And they're just like, fuck you, we're evil now. Like just how overt it is. And he's like, Hulk, buddy, help me out. And Hulk's like, yeah guys, don't be evil. And they're like, fuck you, Hulk, your feet are big. And he's like, oh, you get Sad Boy Hulk. And
Yeah.
Sad Boy Hulk gets you something so goddamn awful.
Yeah, horrible.
Claw.
Horrible.
Claw.
Dumb.
Whose name should be Cringe.
Yeah.
Because everything about him makes you, especially
Although,
his dialogue.
The dialogue.
Did you read the Nova annual with him in it? Where
With
Nova
Claw?
fights him? Yeah. He's pretty fucking strong. Because we're not going to be covering that at all, so I might as well just be mentioning what happens. So Nova goes after him to fight. And Nova just gets his ass beat right away and breaks every bone in his body and is like in the hospital. And still nobody else goes after Claw. And he's just like waiting to heal until he's like not as broken. And then goes and fights the Hulk and just takes him to space until he passes out.
Yeah, so Claw is basically the Hulk's Hulk. And he's the worst.
Luke Cage punching the Hulk like this,
Bullshit.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? I thought that immediately. Like, Thor's right there. Thor, you can kind of see, even then, you'd think the Hulk would stand up to it
Luke
better.
Cage
but
can't even hit Namor like this, let alone
Yeah.
Hulk.
So, anyway, Claw kind of beats the shit out of the Avengers and then runs away for whatever reason. And they're like, should we chase him? Yeah, probably not.
That bow untied itself.
Yeah. And then they go They open up the prison chamber where Red Skull was, and he's not there, and they're like, "Where the fuck's the Red Skull?"
Just wind blowing.
There's a dustweed, like a tumbleweed, that like
in that little cell.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, the best speech from Claw was that "try harder," because Scarlet Witch was performing some magic on him. He's just like, "Try harder." Because then everything afterwards, it's
he said.
let's just not say anything he says.
See, I think I don't hate him as much as you guys because being Marvel, they very easily would have made everything he says backwards, and they didn't do that. So I'm just so relieved because they're like, Claw is Hulk backwards, then he talks backwards. That is totally a Marvel thing to do, and they didn't do it. So I was happy about
They
that.
went with Claw. No one was like, "Hey, that sounds dumb."
Yeah.
Like, I know we make the funny books, but like, come on, try harder.
Yeah, that makes kind of zero sense. I mean, it makes
And then they were
sense,
like,
but...
"Try harder." Dialogue for the
there we go.
Put it in. What were we talking about? Nothing. All right.
But yeah, because I would have been happier if he was Sad Boy Hulk. But instead we got this ridiculous
like emo.
version.
His hair fell over one of his eyes.
So Amadeus Cho. Also, the ad on the back of your book is the Hulk breaking through a wall.
Should have been Claw.
So, yeah, that's the end of 4. Number 5, I like the opening. It's always cool getting some Spider-Man banter with another hero. And
I
it's
like
him
when
and Nova.
Remender writes Spider-Man. He does a good job of writing him.
You know what's kind of a shame is that these covers are all so dope, and Dotson did the interiors, and I'm just like, with
A
Dotson.
little underwhelming.
Yeah. Because he does some good close-ups, but, like, whenever he's doing a wide shot of anything, he gets super sloppy. Like, for some reason, I was thinking it was just the X4 book that's out right now, and nah, we're going back to this, and I was just like, oh, wow, he really just doesn't give a shit sometimes.
Yeah, he seems like minimalistic.
Yeah, but I mean, he can do good work. That's the crazy thing. Is like you have an awesome sort of splash panel extending 2 pages. Like he just opened it up to like the big Avengers meeting, and that looks cool. But then you get some other panels, and it's like you barely even tried to draw ahead, man.
I'm iffy on them because sometimes they do a good work. I don't even know. I mean, it's both of them, Terry and Rachel, inker and the penciler. But yeah, their close-ups are way better.
Yeah. Although, one thing more I want to say about Remender's Spider-Man, he kind of just writes him as Deadpool.
That's weird.
He's like, because Spider-Man isn't that jokey.
I agree.
Like, he's pretty jokey, but he's not as jokey as he.
I feel
is
like
real.
he's self-deprecating jokey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, most of his jokes come from just making fun of supervillains and shit.
Yeah, but I mean also like, you know, don't I suck sometimes? Like, because I can't seem to balance anything.
I thought it was over top as well because I had thought he might have got inverted or something because of the way he was acting. I thought it was off character.
Yeah, like the whole like, oh, I'm just hazing you. That like a lot of that stuff, and like once shit gets serious and he's still like being really jokey.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of writers do that where they go over the edge with Spider-Man a little bit and he turns into Deadpool.
I can see that. That was definitely there. I'm just saying like there were some good lines of dialogue.
I'm just saying I think Remender would be good at writing a Deadpool series.
Because every single thing that came out of Spider-Man's mouth was a joke.
Yeah.
Sure. And I like a quarter of it though was good.
The Richard Rider one was my favorite.
Yeah. Well, also
Straight
up Deadpool.
Yeah, that was actually where I was like, you would say that? You would say that to a child?
Yeah. About like a close personal friend is.
The guy who wore this helmet before you, his name was Dick Ryder. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, you're 15.
Think about it. Think about it. What rides dicks? I mean, shit. I gave it away. He rides dicks. His name's Dick Ryder.
But he says he's got some big shoes to fill. You know what they say about big shoes.
Which
he rides big dicks.
that reminds me though is like, you know, the people who are really wanting Marvel to confirm like Wolverine's gay in the new issue of X-Force. Wolverine's talking to Jean, and they're talking about replacing and finding somebody to be like the heart of X-Force. And he's like, what about Colossus? He has a big heart. He's got a big everything. I saw people posting that. They were like, how do you know, Wolverine? How do you know?
Well, it's community showers at the mansion.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Which Wolverine installed. He made
No,
them.
Xavier installed those.
He just installed the cameras.
He wheels in there every time it's shower time for some reason.
Gay nickname fun fact. Wolverine in the gay community would actually be a badger.
All right.
All right.
So issue
That should be a damn
so
segment.
issue
Gay
5.
nickname fun fact.
It would go well with the TV Funhouse music from Saturday Night Live.
All right. So anyway, you get that banter with Spidey and Nova, and they go into this giant Avengers meeting.
Clearly about to be an orgy.
Well, if Hickman wrote this.
I feel like Hyperion and Mr. Fantastic are arguing about something just so ridiculous. He's like, you put the panels wrong. Like you laid that floor incorrectly. Just the way he's has his hand out pointing at the scenery.
I just assumed that he was like, oh, I can stretch farther than you.
Although that makes me think that Hickman's next crossover event he does with the X-Men is going to be Dicks of 10.
Tens of dicks.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, it turns out the meeting is just because Cap's like, so it was an Avengers clearance that opened the
Cell.
the cell. Yeah, I couldn't think of, for some reason I kept thinking Cage. It's like, no. Open the cell so Red Skull could get out. And he's like, I don't know who it was, so it's all of you. Plus, you ain't been vilified, so villainified.
Yeah. And also, we got a lot of plans, and it'd help a lot if you guys were like,
Not here.
yeah.
Yeah. It was Jarvis, though. We all know.
So
Jarvis.
he shrinks him.
I now want to read
Just
a
all of
pirate
them.
book with Jarvis.
Yeah, so he uses like all of Wasp's
Pim particles.
Yep. Pim particles. I almost said Pime again. I was so fucking close. He uses all of her Pim particles to shrink them all, and he's just like, great, that's taken care of. But like he does it like his demeanor is so, I'm so powerful, look at what I've done. I've defeated all the Avengers.
Yeah, he used to be Denicer, but now he's Demeanor. Because of the inversion.
Yeah. But like that's not even your thing, man. You're not even the Pim particle guy.
Yeah.
And that's what you used to beat them. So, lame.
See, I wasn't getting that from him. I was not getting egotistical.
You weren't getting egotistical.
Although he did
From
make the
Sam Wilson.
He did have the idea of putting the vacuum on
Right in her ear.
on Janet to suck out all of her Pime.
I got egotistical in terms of his decision making, not in terms of his smarts or skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he does say like, "Oh, like I'm the best leader. Like I'm so great." He
Yeah.
almost fucking breaks his elbow jerking himself off.
I put a vacuum to Janet's head.
No one
I'm
thought
amazing.
of that.
Yeah. he's
Where you at, Tony?
He's the
I had the ideas.
he's the P Diddy of the Avengers.
No, he's Suge
Racist.
Knight. He's
just
definitely
like he's the
Suge Knight.
black one.
What? Of Death Row
Yeah.
Huh?
He's Suge
or of the record yeah, Death Row, right?
Death Row, Suge Knight. He said Suge Knight.
I said he's Suge Knight. No.
I said you were racist because he was the black one, and you said so he's Diddy.
But there's a lot of other black
Yeah, I
people
know.
on
That's
that
why it
record.
doesn't hold up. I was just clarifying what was said. I wasn't like reiterating it.
So what happens in the book?
Well, I feel like Justin was trying to say something.
Oh, no, that was about it. I said he's Scott Storch because he'd be hanging somebody off the balcony.
Oh, okay.
No, that's Tony Stark.
You know what? Fuck. Yeah, it's Tony Stark. So, fuck. Where was I even in this?
The Pime.
Oh
They
no, so Spider-Man escapes because he's like Spider Sense. Oh no, they're doing some villain shit. They're evil now. He pushes Nova through the window, and they try to get away. And right away, Medusa's all like, my hair's got you. And Spider-Man's like, well, try shampooing this out of your hair. And
He's like, it's not the first sticky thing I've shot in a woman's hair.
Doesn't it dissolve after so many hours, though?
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Depending on who's writing it, it's either an hour or two.
Yeah, because he gave a line about, like, oh, you're going to need a lot of peanut butter.
yeah. Yeah. Well, she's got all that hair.
Yeah, but just 2 hours is gone, so.
Yeah, but she might not want to wait 2 hours.
Right. And she might not know that anyway.
Well, now she does.
So she's probably like, ah.
He just wants to see her put peanut butter all over her.
He's going to stop by and bring it over to her house.
She's got a weird fetish. So anyway, this part actually bugged me that Spider-Man was attached to Nova and Nova was rocketing off and like Nova's really fucking fast.
Yeah.
And then Sam Wilson's just like on them. It's like, what the fuck, man? You got like a jetpack that kind of glides. Like, how are you keeping up with Nova? So that bothered me. That he was like right there, like he throws the shield. And another thing, that while flying, you throw the shield. It's got to be like spinning and like goes back into his face. How does he not get hit by his own shield flying forward and throwing it? But whatever, comics. So it hits Sam in the back, and then he drops Spider-Man. And, you know, there's a sky fighting thing going on, and the shield just comes right back at Sam and hits him.
So it does happen.
Yeah, it does, but like not
Eventually.
For that reason.
So is Sam not nigh invulnerable while blasting? Is that not what's going on here?
No, he's not Cannonball.
No,
He
he's
just
not
has
badass.
like an aura around him. That blue aura is like defensive and helps him breathe in space.
So it doesn't stop shield, you're saying?
It will help, but it doesn't.
Yeah, no, a shield
still
will fuck him up
hurts.
apparently.
He didn't get decapitated, so there's that. But
Well, I would hope not. He got hit in the back. So
he also went through a building, so that's why he's just a little bit hurt.
Yeah, and so it turns out it was Magneto who tossed the shield back and stopped Sam. Because I just realized
There's
two
two
Sams.
Sams,
Yeah. So that stops Cap, and then he pulls
Cap
Spider-Man.
Sam,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. So he pulls Spider-Man and Nova aside because Scarlet Witch shows up and she's looking for them. And he's like, all right, so we better not fight her because she's crazy and really powerful. And they're like, what the fuck's going on here that Magneto, of all people, is saving us from our teammates? Because they weren't involved with the fighting of Red Onslaught. They were stopping the hate mobs.
And now
during
that
that time.
Scarlet Witch is inverted, her costume is all of a sudden way like darker.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost like she's evil.
It's a mood ring.
Almost.
Mood latex.
Yes. It's unstable particles. The unstable
my.
part is her personality.
I just noticed Thor here looks like Bro Thor, but like way worse. He looks like fucking Willie Nelson. With
Yeah,
his
'cause they
axe
were-
just sitting.
There's the whole unworthy point where he was just like sad boy bro.
He looks like he's got blue jeans on. He looks old as shit. And he looks skinny. He's not even buff anymore. He just needs a beer.
His muscles come from the
Yeah. They go back and they're like, so we didn't get those two, but like, you know, we got most of them. And Wanda's like, because Bird Boy here fucked up and fuck you guys. I ain't helping you anymore. I'm a solo act.
She showed up just to talk shit.
Yeah.
She comes back there and tells them, leave me alone.
Yeah. But like in the most like over the top super villainy way, and then takes off. She's all like, I need to get my revenge. And like, okay, whatever.
Revenge will be mine.
And then we learn that Old Man Rogers is working with Magneto, and he's going to sent them out there.
Now we can say Napton America. So
Now we can't say Napton America, yeah. And he's like, this is my son, Nomad. And Spider-Man's like, because of course it is. And they're like, yeah, crazy what's going on. And then Claremont wrote this part. The news comes up, and they see Claw is like causing a bunch of damage and whatnot. And they're like, ooh, someone's got to do something about that. And then Nova's just gone. And they're like, what
And
the fuck?
he's
Where'd he
there.
go? Yeah.
That's how fast he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how the fuck did Falcon Cap keep up?
I would assume he would only go a certain speed to keep Spider-Man from fucking flying off.
Yeah, I get the rationality
Sure,
of
Spider-Man
that.
would be fine.
Yeah, he
I
would
mean,
be.
Sticky's his thing.
Right. Even if he fell, he would just like catch a building.
Yeah.
So.
But then get fucked up by all the other people that are there.
Yeah, sure. But he would keep standing up, and then I would get tired of that movie. So, yeah, Nova goes to fight Claw, who's got a whole bunch of bad dialogue, and then sirens start going off, and Spider-Man's like, "Oh, great," because we needed another bad thing to happen. I assume the sirens are a bad thing. And they go up to the roof and they see like there's this weird like rocket structure thing descending on Manhattan, and it's the X-Men with Apocalypse because they're like, Manhattan's mine's now.
They built that really fast without Magneto.
Yeah. It turns out they knew how magnets work.
It looks like some alien
All
shit.
without.
No.
It does look like some alien shit.
It's clearly from Apocalypse, though.
Because
Yeah.
it's purple.
Yeah.
They could have just painted it to be nice.
I mean, I don't even know what kind of powers Apocalypse has because he's just ridiculous.
He's the morphing thing.
I know, but he's also like whatever. He's kind of like Thanos, where he just takes on new stuff, and just next thing you know, he's got a new power, and it's like, how'd you get that?
I know his main thing is like changing sizes and then like making his hands guns.
He's got like the celestial armor and shit.
That's a 21 Pilot song, by the way.
Making your hands guns.
Finger
Yeah,
guns.
basically, like,
Finger banging?
fuck. Something, if their hands were guns or something like that, yeah. No, Guns for Hands. Guns for Hands. I think that's the title of the song, Guns for Hands. It's like the chorus.
Can you say guns for hands one more time?
Guns
We
for
haven't met her
Hands.
quote. There we go.
So, anyway, now this is where Falcon's giving, like, that monologue of, like, how brilliant he is, and you see how dumb it is, the vacuum that's attached to the side of Janet's head.
Yeah, it's kind of like hard to monologue about how great you are when your one power is the bird that's flying around the room.
Exactly. And he's talking about like how, you know, he's got to be the dictator that the country needs to thrive.
Also, I'm pretty sure he's pouring beer into a shot glass. And what kind of nerd pours beer into a shot glass?
It looks like root beer too, to be honest.
He gives this monologue, and then the X-Men arrive, and they're like, yeah, great to hear you're super racist and awful, and thank you for doing our job for us, really, because you got rid of most of the Avengers. And then they just beat the shit out of them. Like, so bad.
Rogue just beats him down with the table, and Nightcrawler, like, almost stabs him.
Yeah, they were like, give us Red Skull. And he's like, never. And Nightcrawler just teleports to the cell and back, and he's like, not here.
Yeah.
And they're like, and this is what I was talking about. Like, the Cyclops goes to the computer, and he's like, yeah, Nightcrawler's right. He's not here.
Confirmed.
I did something.
I do think it has to do with the writers, though. Certain writers will pay more attention to other characters.
Yeah. And then, like, they're basically about to kill him. He goes to punch Rogue, and Rogue's like, hey, you punched the wrong person. After, you know,
he breaks his hand, like, on her stomach.
in his defense, it is impressive that he dodged lightning. Because he's like, you're not getting me, Weather Witch. Which, like, you could have just said Storm. But it's like, he's super villainy, so the more syllables, the better, I guess, in his sentences.
Well, and alliteration, so.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he punches Rogue, breaks his hand, and Rogue's like, oh, want me to help you get your mind off that hand? And then probably breaks his ribs, kicking him.
Bet she's not thinking about that hand, though.
Yeah. And then she's about to, like, smash him with, like, some column or some shit.
She throws, I don't know what that is, a table or a whole column, but it
a
lands
table.
right
She,
on
like,
his
beats the fuck
back.
out of him.
Yeah.
And then Apocalypse still has to beat the shit out of him, which I don't know why that was necessary. 'cause
Just
he
for fun.
Should be half dead after he
Just
got hit with
to
that
know.
table.
For shits and gigs.
Yeah. He was like, don't kill him. I ain't hit him yet. And then he's like, tell them all. They have 3 hours, all the humans, to leave Manhattan. It's ours now.
I always love Apocalypse, as long as he's written well. But it's like, why are you going to take Manhattan?
I know.
We're
Because it's-
gentrifying it.
Because it's important to you.
Take over
Yeah.
this Staten Island.
It's like, we are going to take away everything you ever cared about. Just beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. So ends issue 5. With just Apocalypse being like, it's apocalypse time.
Yeah, that's what he says, and then his name
Stop.
flashes above his head.
So issue 6 is a warning from Apocalypse. It's like, hey, we've been nice to you, just beating you fuckers back because you keep entering Manhattan. And the next time you come here, we're killing you. That's basically it. So, for some reason, people keep trying to enter Manhattan. Like, you should really stop it after a certain point if you're just getting beat up every time you try.
Yeah, just leave Manhattan alone.
Yeah.
Let them have Manhattan.
And then you find out, oh, they're building a gene bomb.
Gene!
Cyclops is working on it, too. He's like...
Trust me. Oh, now I feel like he's giving a Trump speech. No one knows Gene's better than me.
I'm gonna fuck that bomb.
And then someone comes up to Apocalypse and is like, hey, Mystique's here, and she's demanding counsel. And he's like, all right, I know just who to send. And he sends Nightcrawler and Rogue, and they're like, hey, Mom, remember when you were terrible to us, Mom? Well, now we're terrible, and we're going to beat you up.
Mom.
And then they do. And she's like, no. Also, spying on them inside, like, the main workshop area of the gene bomb.
Gene!
Right. Was Sabretooth. And then he comes and he saves Mystique, and he's like, it's fucking crazy, right? We're good guys, they're bad guys. And they're, like, really bad guys. Like, really, really bad guys. So they're making us look bad.
Yeah,
When we were
guys.
bad guys.
They're making us look good.
So the story cuts to Tony Stark. He's partying because, you know, he's making even more money
I just
because
want
he
to
needed it.
I just want to point out that the sound effect that they use for Rogue flying is the same thing that Xavier does to his students. It's groom.
I thought you were going to say diddle.
That'd be horrible.
That would be so funny though to see somebody flying and the sound is like diddle, 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 diddle.
All right, so so Tony's partying and he's like talking to someone and he's like, I'm so fucking smart. Like,
Wicked smart.
the app's free, but like then they gotta pay to keep their beauty and stuff. It's
but
like
get
you're
this-
like every drug dealer ever, dude.
I learned
Like,
this from EA.
I feel like, hey, get this is such a great idea. I'm going to call it a free trial. No one's ever done this.
We get them with the base game, and then they're sucked into the microtransactions.
basically. But I did read a bit of the book at the time for Superior Iron Man, and it was like you just start becoming uglier by not paying it, and then like people just all got body dysmorphia. It's like, no, I can't be ugly again, and they start committing crime and shit.
That would be crazy if like you used it to like make your dick bigger, and then every day you're just seeing the inches you're losing. You're like, no.
And then there's like adverse side effects. It gets even smaller than it was before.
Yeah.
And then so Daredevil shows up crashing the party, and he's like, fuck you, Tony Stark. And Tony Stark's like, hey, bud, Matt, not Matt, I mean, or
No, he's public at this point.
no, I know, but he's like whatever you are these days, Matt Murdock or not Matt Murdock or whatever you call yourself.
He's like, speaking of buzzkill, Matt.
Yeah. And he offers him some champagne, which he promptly smacks away because he's sober and on the job. And it was weird because he's just like, you're being a bad guy. And Tony's like, I've done nothing illegal. Also, you're making me mad, man. You're harshing my buzz, bro.
Sound like a communist.
Yeah. And then he has his armor show up to fight him, and he dodges the armor and then beats it with a stick. So that's disappointing.
It's a Billy Club.
Well, come on. That's just a fancy word for stick. And then Tony Stark, because I'm like looking at his comic now because he opened it up. He's like, that's not the only thing different, bruh. And he like chokes him, and he pulls the Suge Knight.
Dangles him over the edge.
Give me half the rights to your song.
He is like kind of nice about it though. He's like, you crashed my party, and that's not cool, bro. But you know what? Come back next time with a better attitude. And
Yeah, as long as you don't die after I throw you off this Toy Story.
You want to see my Ezra Miller impression? Ah!
But yeah, I thought so too. It's like
Flash.
he defeated that suit of armor like nothing, and then lost to Tony.
Yeah. Well, because he does have the extremis in him, so he's like enhanced and shit.
Yeah, but is he a suit of armor? Have you seen those cheeks?
I can't tell if that was pro or negative, him
Right.
being a suit of armor.
They sagging. You can't be armor if like those cheeks are sagging.
Yeah, Tony doesn't work glutes. We all know that.
Yeah. So, fuck. Where am I?
Doom.
Doom.
Doom!
Doom's all like, I'm so sorry, Latveria. I've been a dick, and I love you guys so much.
I came here to announce my bad.
We're a democracy now, and I will show you my face. And Wanda's like, fuck that, revenge.
Fuck your face.
And he's like, but you wouldn't. I tried, remember?
It looks like Doom's wearing a dress when he gets blasted by Wanda because his cape's going down, like
Oh,
covering
yeah.
just his ass.
It's like Marilyn Monroeing up.
So it gets like corny, good guy, bad guy-ish here. It's like super, like, oh, you were going to stand up to me? Well, what if I attack your innocent people? And he's like, no, you can't do that. And then he just takes the hit. And it's like, dude, just block it. Just block it, man. You're like a super science wizard.
He's
like
covered in
literally
magic
wizard.
armor.
Yeah. So whatever.
It looked like he was because like something was emanating out of his hands when he was blocking it, but I think he failed.
Yeah. And then Quicksilver shows up and saves him and runs him back to Magneto, and he's like, so I saved Doom for you, but like, what was that about? And Magneto's like, well, he's good now, and Wanda's bad now. He's like, yeah, I could tell she's really bad, like deep down. And then Wanda's there instantly. Another person
Vader.
who's like somewhere super fast when
Well,
like they shouldn't keep up with the other person.
I thought it was Darth Vader who showed
The
up.
settings of how it looks, though, looks like he just ran him across the street. It's like, I got Doom. We probably should have did this further. Then she's like, I can still see you.
You know, if that's the case, then sure.
But she can probably like teleport, right?
Magic
can do like anything.
can teleport.
But
she can
but
teleport.
Wanda can.
I mean, Doctor Doom. I mean, what's his name? Doctor
Strange.
Strange can.
yeah, but he's got to do the spinny thing with the
Maybe she did it.
the ring thing.
That's just in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
He hasn't had to. I don't know if he's ever had to do that.
No, they made it up for the movie.
But yeah, she's force choking these guys.
She is choking them with her force. And then, yeah, so that sucked for them. Having to deal with Wanda.
So Thor's at the casino.
Yep, Thor is just gambling and doesn't know how gambling works, except
Yeah.
for that he wins all
Also,
the time.
not that different from regular Thor.
Yeah,
All he does is like gamble and drink.
he's
and
just rude.
yeah.
He's just mean about things. Like Loki shows up because he's like, Lucky Snake Eyes. And Loki's like, I don't think that's how that game works, buddy. And he's like, shut up. And he's like, so where'd you even get this money to play to gamble? And he points and it's like the vault of the fucking thing's broken open. He's like, I also don't think that's how casinos work, man. And he touches him and Thor's all like, don't fucking touch me. And then starts beating the shit out of him. And Loki's like, look, I want to lie, but I can't. I love you, bro.
It's like we need to get you stroking that hammer of yours.
Yeah, he's like, if you touch your
Get some
hammer,
clarity.
it'd fix you. And he's like, I left it on the moon. I'm unworthy. And also, screw that hammer. It would have been cool if like Loki grabbed the hammer.
He does in Secret Empire, is it?
Oh,
I think.
well, I just thought.
Or
since he
there's
was
a
inverted.
version of Loki who has the hammer.
Uh,
But yeah, that would have been cool too. I mean, maybe the next part.
yeah.
I don't know. We haven't gotten there.
So he's getting beaten up by Thor, and then he does the classic good guy trope of like, I won't fight you. He turns into Luke Skywalker. And then Spider-Man just shows up in like a Quinjet, and he's like, I got you, and webs Loki and drags him away.
Yeah, you would have. You would think that after Gwen, he'd be a little bit more careful about webbing the back of somebody's neck.
But
it's
like, that's a
Loki.
god.
Yeah.
Still,
He'll live.
I think.
he just breaks his neck. He's like, "Oh man, we shouldn't be getting people like this. I keep killing them."
And
He'll be back.
And then they arrive at Steve Rogers' secret lair, and Loki's like, okay, so I regret that I told him I love him because I feel like that's never going to go away now.
Yeah,
and
fuck that bitch.
It's gonna be really
What are we
weird on
gonna do?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Next time we fuck, it's gonna get real weird. We said we're gonna keep it cash.
Ew. He's like, no. I found out I was adopted. It's okay. It's not gross.
Also, that no noise is the same noise that he makes when he's doing the motorboat to his butt cheeks.
Ew. All right. So, anyway, this is when so they're talking to Rogers, and he's like, I got a plan. We need more of us. And
That's my secret, me.
yeah.
There's been more of us the whole time.
And Loki's like, so wait a minute, you're gonna get all the ex-villains together from that island and form some sort of like ex-evil Avengers? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I even got two guys whose whole thing is pumpkins.
Or technically he's like,
Yeah, who is
no,
Pumpkin Man?
I already did it.
The Jack-O-Lantern.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's fucking dope.
Jack-O-Lantern.
Yeah. He cuts. This is gonna sound stupid, but it's cool with the copy. He cuts like the top of your head open, scoops your brains out, and leaves a candle in there. So like when they find your body, your eyes are glowing.
Does he eat the brains? Though?
Jeez.
They don't
That's
show
pretty
it.
sick.
He should.
But I think they didn't go into that because he's a villain of Venom, and that doesn't really like that's already Venom's thing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So
It'd be like even better though. It's like you don't get these brains in my brain.
no one
I
no
hate
one
these
questioned
brains.
him though, like how he had their contact info. Like I think they already had it. I think he already had like a special like group chat with these guys that was very like KKK-esque, but for mutants. You know, like they just
Yeah, but he's got Mystique and Sabretooth here.
Half of the I was about to say,
yeah,
half of
he
them
doesn't
are
like
mutant.
them. They're usually anti-mutant. Those two,
No.
while being pro-mutant, but their actions are bad for mutants.
I mean, one of them is the only person currently jailed by the All Mutant Society.
yeah.
So
Oh,
So-
that's what we're calling it? Jail?
Two Steve Rogers, there are always good ones.
Yeah.
So these two are the good ones.
Just those two.
now,
Now.
Yeah, until the mission's over, then they're bad again.
Yeah, usually it's Wolverine and Beast. And he tried with one of the Summers brothers, but is like, you know what,
Yeah, it's too many
so he had to get
questions.
another Wolverine and another blue person.
Basically, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. He's got a type.
Yeah,
He likes him furry and blue. It's a wonder he hasn't gone for Nightcrawler.
I bet he has.
So, yeah. Loki's like, well, I guess with all these people, we can take on my brother. And Sabretooth's like, nah, that's not the priority. The X-Men have a gene bomb, and they're going to wipe
Gene.
out. They're going to wipe out
Kills all genes.
everyone without an X gene.
Or it's Cyclops' perfect bomb, which just kills everybody who's not Jean.
Then it just leaves him, because she's going to fucking die. So, yep, that's the end of that.
So, Carnage, part deuce.
Yep. I liked the beginning of this a lot because of how fucking weird it was. Of just like Carnage was trying to retcon his own
Yeah.
origin, so he'd have a superhero origin story and not be lying, and it's like all bad.
Well, it's all stuff that actually happened. He just made him more of a victim and put himself in a Spider-Man costume.
Even though he did it all, basically.
Yeah, because he does push a girl in front of the school bus that he has a crush on, but he's like totally cool about it.
Yeah.
And he also pushes his grandma downstairs. That was a thing too. And he does a lot. He burnt down the school.
Yeah, it was kind of hilarious, though, seeing him with the girl's body who he pushed in front of the bus and just yelling, no!
Yeah, no! How could this happen?
Who could have done such a thing? And
Goodbye, my love.
yeah. So he's trying to create like this origin story for himself, and he's realizing like oh, I'm an evil person, and he
Yeah.
starts actually feeling guilty and like can't handle feeling guilty.
Also, I glossed over this when I read it, but he also hangs his dog.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Would you hang your dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, hate it when
pretty
that
bad.
happens.
I mean, of all the murders he committed, that's the worst.
Yeah. Well, yeah, John Wick's after him now.
Yeah, so then so he's got that woman, Alice, I'm forgetting her last name.
Cooper.
Yeah.
In Wonderland.
No, in Wonderland's last name.
Yeah. It's
no.
German.
It's
It's
Wunder.
Yeah, I was about to say original pronunciation. In Wunderland.
All right, so anyway, the news anchor lady who wants to be a superhero reporter, who he kind of kidnapped / saved in the previous book because he wants to learn how to be a superhero and how to feel
Empathy.
yeah, well, that he has it. He wants to know how to manage it now. And she's supposed to help him. And she's freaking out because she's webbed up against the wall. And he's like, no. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to, I need you to help me be a good person. And she's like, well, then let me down because that's what good people do. And he's like, but like,
Yeah,
you'll
good
run.
people are always letting me down.
That explains why she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, I've tried to be good, but good people let me down. And he's like, well, how do I know you won't run? And she's like, I promise I won't run if you promise to get me out of these webs. And he's like, well, what good's a promise? It's just words. Like, you can easily break a promise. And she's like, well, you're trying to be good, right? So good people don't break promises. They don't go back on the word. That's like the whole point of being good. And he's like, oh, all right, well, I guess that tracks. And so he lets her down. And then she's like, great, I'll help you. And then sort of does.
Not
pretty
really.
fucked up.
It's all self-interest on her part.
Oh
shooting
yeah,
her.
for sure. But like she's like giving him tips, or like he's getting weird rules out of what she's saying because like he's seeing, like he's got the wrong perspective of what's happening. And then like it cuts to this random social worker for Emil Greggs, which I guess is supposed to tie into the previous Sin Eater stuff. Because it gets brought up, right, that like he was involved in the Sin Eater thing before.
Yeah, because the guy that they're talking about was so the Sin Eater was a serial killer around like 300, so like Spider-Man 300. Eddie Brock discovered the identity sorta of who the Sin Eater was, and it was this guy. But this guy was just a compulsive liar, and that's what ruined Eddie Brock's career as a reporter. And ended up him becoming Venom because that guy ruined his career, but he blames it for Spider-Man because Spider-Man found out who actually was Sin Eater and turned him in.
Gotcha.
And that's how they found out that guy was full of shit.
So this is sort of deep cuts, where they go like
I wouldn't say
into
deep cuts because that's the most important issue of Spider-Man.
of Spider-Man or of Venom.
Spider-Man. It's Amazing Spider-Man 300, Venom's first appearance. Like that's all that.
Well, why is
stuff
that the most
happens.
important issue of Spider-Man?
One of the most important issues of Spider-Man.
Or just because Venom is created?
How many issues of Spider-Man can you name?
Issue 1.
Issue 2.
What happens in him?
Spider-Man shows up.
And then
Issue 3.
who's the villain in any of those?
Issue 4.
Puberty.
Puberty.
Puberty was the villain for like the first few years.
Talking to girls.
Social awkwardness. It's like, how do I explain all these muscles all of a sudden?
Well, he started wrestling.
You know what?
He's a wrestler.
Big villain. Bonesaw.
First appearance,
He had to
Spider-Man the movie.
He had to deal with Bonesaw.
And he's always ready, so you don't want to mess with him.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. That fucking guy. I can't believe he really talked that way. That was nuts.
I know. Yeah.
So anyway, the Emil Gregg social worker, because apparently he's a junkie and whatnot, is like, well, I gotta find him. He missed his appointment, and she's talking to this other guy who like doesn't give a shit about her or her problems. And she's like, well, I'm gonna go to Bumtown to find him. And he's like, you can't go to Bumtown, and it's crazy that there's just a Bumtown. And it's named Bumtown.
Yeah, like she's going to Bumtown because she knows it's a place that homeless people go, but he thought it was a porn, like to get porn.
He's like, Bumtown?
I'll go to Bumtown. Fuck yeah. He's like, oh, it's just trash.
Yeah, and they get there and they're like, hey, so where's Emil Greggs? And some random bum in Bumtown just like, Greggs is over there. His tent's that way. And they go there and, well, he's dead. His face is just getting eaten by rats. And they're like, oh, no. So I don't know why that matters yet. But that apparently he's not Sin Eater.
Because there's a new Sin Eater. Well, the Sin Eater is back and he's killing that
The
dude
imposter?
for confessing for being Sin Eater.
Ah,
It's a sin to lie.
gotcha. It took him a long ass time.
Yep. Well, he's been dead, I think.
Oh. So anyway, they're Carnage and Alice are swinging about, and they're going to this cemetery because he needs to like confess and find absolution and forgiveness because he's trying to get over his emotional trauma of like being guilty and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's
cemetery?
when they flashed the picture of him at the top of the stairs with his grandma dead at the bottom.
Yeah.
Is this his grandma's grave?
I would assume.
And there's this guy digging, and he automatically assumes it's a grave robber, so he starts beating the shit out of the guy.
Her name's Elsa Bonesmith. That's fucking awesome. I was just reading the grave.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
It's getting close to Bonesaw.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Probably how she talked.
Come here, Carnage.
Dinner's ready.
Come on, little Cletus. We're gonna have a meal.
Stupid.
That's why he killed her.
I'm just picturing though. He pushes her down the stairs, and she's like, "Ah!" She does like a flying elbow off the top of the stairs.
But I wasn't ready.
Bonesmith's ready.
All right. So anyway, he beats up this fucking gravekeeper, and she's like, "No, he's not a grave robber. He's a gravekeeper, and he's at the bottom of this grave now." And he's like, "You broke all of my bones." And he's like, "My bad." And he like webs him up, and he's like, hey, "Go on about your day, good sir. Sorry about that." And then she gets him to basically confess all his murders and stuff, like on camera for
That's
her.
a lot of them.
He's even, because she's like, "How many people have you killed?" And he's like, "I don't know, like so many, like all, like almost like all of them. Like I definitely
Anybody who's ever died, that was me.
He was like, and she sends the video to the, I guess the editor of the news channel or whatever, who didn't want to give her the promotion, and like, so she's like, "Yeah, see, I can fucking get scoops," which is it's crazy that it's a scoop that Carnage is like, "Yeah, I kill people."
Yeah, but getting like an interview with him.
Yeah, where it was
list.
funny because he's just like, I want to kill everyone all the time, but I'm trying really hard not to. And he's like doing the namaste thing. And then like suddenly it's like all the SWAT teams and everyone's like fucking going to that cemetery, and they get there and it's just the gravekeeper all bandaged up, and they're like, "Where's Carnage?" And he's like, "Oh, just fucking look at the webs. Follow him."
Follow the web.
Left a pretty clear trail.
So they're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like literally in the book, they're like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, fuck.
didn't think of that." And then Carnage stops a bank robbery. Like there's a bank robbery in progress.
That's
Well, yeah, I'm getting there.
yeah. I don't know if I'd put it that way.
Yeah. So he sets Alice down on top of a light pole, which seems super dangerous, really. Like that height, and it's just like and she's like, "I'm cool with it." So there's a robbery in progress with this bank, and he's like, "I got this." And there's a guy holding the gun, and he webs the guy's gun from him, and he takes it, and he just starts shooting it. And he shoots it into a car, makes the car explode. It blows up into the bank, and then he like goes over to like sign autographs or whatever.
Yeah, it's like no bank, no robbery.
Yeah, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Victory lap." He's like,
I won, baby.
yeah, he's like, "Can't rob a bank if I burned it down first." It's like that's
how that
not
works.
how that
Now
works.
the money's safe in there.
Yeah, and while this is happening, Sin Eater breaks into the newsroom where she works, and he's like, "Where's that Jezebel Allison, whatever?" And they're like, "Fucking, are you serious? Look!" And he looks over at the monitor.
Her name's Gleason, by the way.
Gleason, sure.
Allison
that's-
Gleason?
Yeah. It's not in Wunderland.
Yeah.
Like we call it.
So he sees, and it's her and Carnage next to a fire hydrant. And he's like kicking the fire hydrant, and then it cuts back to them, and he's like ripping the fire hydrant open so that the water can shoot at the flames of the bank now, because he's trying to fix the fact that he just did that.
And the whole time he's like keeping a list of like, oh, these are superhero rules. And he like opens up the fire hydrant. She's like, don't get my hair wet. And he's like, oh yeah, rule number 2, do not get a girl's hair wet.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
do that.
Yeah.
Superheroes never get chicks wet.
Just ask Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Sin Eater sees Alice on the TV, and he's like, all right, well then that's where I gotta go. Meanwhile, all the fucking military and police that can go to stop Carnage is going to stop Carnage. And he tries to escape. Like, he just uses one of like the helicopters, like he webs it, but then the propeller cuts the web. And then he saves Alice because she falls, and he's like, Alice, because superheroes got to yell a girl's name.
Well, I think he was swinging on a building, and the helicopter tangled up in the webbing.
Oh, I thought he okay, yeah. So anyway, he catches her, and then the webbing that he caught her with gets shot because Sin Eater's there, and you'd think he would have just killed Alice because like that's what he's been doing, but instead he throws her in the back of his car and drives off. And
Well, I think he like the specific people he's going after. He like drains the sin out of you or something like that.
oh, and he just can't. He doesn't have the privacy to do it yet because there's all these.
yeah. I
You gotta
could
set up
be
the
wrong, but 'cause
tubes and everything.
it's been a long time since it's more like just like glowing, if I remember right. It's been a while since I read this, but I think he does something like that.
Yeah.
It's like human centipede.
Sure, he
Well,
sucks it out of her
well,
ass.
yeah. Well, that's why he needs the privacy. No, he's the Sin Eater, so that makes sense. Like he just sort of takes it out of them.
Yeah.
He's a worse Ghost Rider.
Well, yeah, he's worse because he's got to get lip to. He's got to.
Lip to butthole.
Yeah, he's got to get an orifice contact.
Every time he eats a hot dog, he sucks the energy out of it.
Oh, he's Gen Z. Because all the ass eating.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think.
Well, I think millennials
started
too.
that,
Apparently, yeah.
It's pretty much everybody we know. So Justin's being real quiet.
But
All right,
everybody
so-
doesn't eat ass.
Nope. Anyway, so Sin Eater, he takes Alice in the car, and then Carnage is just like, I'll save you, and like he's looking at her, and like the page it's pretty funny because like he's just got 2 missiles coming for him like right behind him, because he's been like just oblivious to the fact that like there's been SWAT people and military people like trying to catch him all day.
Well, and it's also kind of a cool transition between the last page and then the preview page for the next cover, because it's the 2 rockets coming after him, and then you flip to the preview page, and it's like somebody blew his back out.
Sin Eater.
Got a hold of him finally.
Did you say shit eater? No, sin eater. Stop calling me that.
You got a lot of sin in there, you know.
Yeah, so that was Carnage 2.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
Axis. Yeah.
Fun. Like that we got enough excuse to read some Carnage, even if it's not the
Well,
best Carnage story.
2 out of 3 recommend.
Yeah, Justin, this is all new to him.
I've read this story before.
All new to him.
Didn't care for it.
No, it was all right. I actually enjoyed it when I read it.
You know what I think these people would enjoy? It's their social media. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything is at Mex-Men Podcast, and we're also on YouTube. You can just search Mex-Men Podcast on there, and then you'll find us eventually. You look hard enough.
You can listen to us on a audio-visual medium.
You got
platform.
YouTube Red. You can check that out if you want to close your phone. Do something
Yeah,
to on Facebook.
And then we got stuff for sale if you want to buy it.
Yeah.
It's on TeePublic.
You'd enjoy a onesie. Don't lie.
Yeah, full-grown man onesie.
They
Rompers?
should make those.
I think
They do. They do. They're
That is not
rompers.
the same. It needs buttons on the taint.
Well, they got those pajama things where you can buy like a Spider-Man costume for a grown man, and it's,
Oh God! If I could, because when I upload the art there, they let me like move it around so like where I want the placement on the shirt for the design. And if it were a romper, I swear to God, if I could, I would take it all the way down to where the dick would be.
Of course. Where else would it be?
It'd be pretty great.
I just want you in the future to be more careful about saying the sentence of taking it down all the way to where the dick would be.
I was very clear on talking about where the design logo on a romper would be.
I know, but I also
'Cause
was
you
going
already
to grab
would
that
look-
sound clip.
You would already look ridiculous
In a romper.
in a romper. So like, I would want you
romping around
to
in it.
look worse.
Because that draws the attention right to the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is,
That's the point.
Yeah,
You're wearing a romper.
Yeah.
What'd your shirt say?
You got Wolverine's hand over someone's dick. Yeah. That's exactly
There's
where he
stuff a
wants his hand
sock
to be.
in there.
Yeah, but a couple. We don't have Mex-Men socks yet, but buy a Mex-Men shirt. Stuff it down your pants with your Mex-Men romper. Impress your friends.
First time you meet your friend's mom, you help her with the groceries, you wear that romper.
That wamper. That wampa. You wear the wampa? Impress your friends?
It'll be a whomper.
Stuff a tube sock in there.
when your friend's mom sees it.
You lay a girl down, you're like, you ready for this wampa?
She's like, bonesaw. Ready?
Yeah! Yeah, so the link to everything is in the show notes. Go click on that and then click on the links to go to things.
Yep, that's how the internet works.
Yep, sometimes. Unless the link's broken. But yeah, that's for today.